come up with ideas, I would say. I just, you know what I mean?
I've got an answer to that. I look to my panelists and I say, "What do you got, guys? I got nothing."
Yeah.
Well, it's 8 o'clock,
So,
Jim. Push the magic button, buddy. If you,
I already did. We
I
should
don't
be
see it.
getting
There it goes.
notified.
Okay, there
Yeah.
it goes. All right, just popped up.
Should be getting notified. So, on that note, it says it's 46 now, but did you read that special weather statement? We're going down into a frost warning tonight.
Really? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
I didn't see that.
raining iguanas tomorrow then.
I thought. I thought that.
No, normally in February we'll get a couple of cold days, what you guys consider cold.
It's
But,
not
you
to
know,
be a
not
beautiful
much.
time of the year for you guys. No humidity, the temperature's down.
Yeah, it says 7 o'clock in the morning. It's supposed to be 39 degrees here,
And
according
mine says,
according to
That's
UAV
colder.
according to UAV forecast.
That's colder than here.
I've got the weather. Cold temperatures, frost expected tonight into Wednesday morning. Mid to upper 30s, same thing. Same nonsense from the Melbourne weather. Hey, Dre's joining us.
And I see the high tomorrow is going to be 60 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Who's got the dog? What do I hear a dog barking?
That's probably my
Who
dog.
lets
Oh,
the
okay.
dogs out?
Who let the dogs out?
I'll have to mute a few times. I got 3 of them. They go crazy when they go.
Oh, okay.
Dropped off. I apologize for that.
No, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have some dogs here that I didn't know about.
Don't let it happen again, Al.
Hey, Dre, how you doing,
Sorry,
buddy?
Dre. How you doing?
I'm doing
Dre.
good, Nick. How you guys?
Good to see you.
Good,
You know?
good.
I tried editing in
Hey, John
Dolby.
Shots. Jody. Hello, Jody. Sorry,
I got
I didn't mean to cut you off.
If it comes out,
Jim, I didn't get a notification.
I didn't either. I
I
got the
sent it
email.
in the mail.
No, that we
No,
got,
no, no,
but,
no, no. On YouTube.
but I
I
didn't
can't
get
find
a
it.
ding on my phone that you're
Yeah,
live
me neither.
for some
I
reason.
I didn't get a ding that we're live.
Yeah, you're
And
not
I
on.
know that I got your bell rung, so
Yeah.
YouTube strikes again.
Well, they're pretty messed up lately. There's quite the fury, and those bigger guys are all pissed off that they're going to be putting ads on lower channels because then these guys, you know, they get less
Oh,
revenue.
there you go.
Oh, of course, of course. You think, and you think that YouTube might say, you know, if we put the ad on that channel, we get to keep all the money, and if we put it on this guy's channel, we got to give him 70% of it. So what should we do? Although the big guys get a lot more views, though. See, that's where, you know, would you put an ad on somebody that gets 1 million views on a video or somebody that gets 30 views?
I
Leads me to
agree.
My next question: if they do decide to, put ads on someone's work content, and you're a drone pilot, isn't that considered illegal?
No.
Couldn't then possibly the FAA
That's
come down?
No.
I've heard so many different versions of it. I actually heard Bruce over there, XJet, today, making the claim that that does constitute in furtherance of a business.
No.
And I can now that's
Well, I was
nonsense.
gonna
If it's
say,
not your
It's
business, if
furtherance
it's,
of the business of YouTube, not you.
Yeah.
If you're
Not
not,
you.
getting
Yeah.
paid,
Yeah,
it is not
that's
right.
your problem.
There's
it's
many
not your- if we're-
interpretations of that.
well, but
that
it can't
sentence.
be because because every drone flight we make is in furtherance of the business of the company that manufactured the drone that we're flying. It's in furtherance of YouTube's business. It's in furtherance of the cable company that streams the internet to our house. It's in furtherance of everybody's business on the planet except ours. How can we be judged that it's a Part 107 flight? I mean, you know,
I'd like to hear what
benefiting
Drake is.
from
Dre's a
it.
107 pilot as well. So Dre,
the
what do you think
FAA, the FAA in their rulings always say that
Because I was always in interpretation that it's in furtherance of a
Is
business.
it? Did you make
No.
money? Is it your business? Then you
Doesn't
are
matter.
responsible.
Even
Yeah,
if
I
it's
can't.
someone
I
else.
can't believe. First of all, the way they determine, according to the FAA's own documents, is
Hey,
the
Rick.
intent. The intent of
I've
the
said
flight.
this last week.
Yeah, the intent. In other words, when you flew the flight, did you intend to do it for monetary gain? And if you didn't, then after that, it's not in furtherance of a business. So I mean, I'd love to see him test this
I
in
only
court.
bring it up because because I've heard different
Yeah.
people interpret it different ways.
I
Well,
think people will
Oh,
bitch
Bob
about.
Tracy.
Oh,
I think
I'll add
people
in
will
my-
just.
It
I'll add
doesn't
in my
matter
two
because you'll
cents here.
never
Oh, is
have
that
to
right?
qualify it.
I'm adding my 2 cents here now. One of the
Okay.
things that we're not looking at is our implied agreement on allowing us to use YouTube. How many people, show of hands, pay to use YouTube? None of us. Free service. Okay. And part of that agreement, we just had a new one come out, I think it was about a month and a half ago, that YouTube sent out for everybody to click that button, and they altered the agreement by saying that they can monetize or add ads
They
to
can
any
place
video,
ads on any
any
channel.
ad, any
Yeah.
video they want to. No matter if you got 2 followers or I can say 2 million followers, they are allowed to do what they want to do, and we all agreed to it by using the service. So that right there, in case it kind of protects us as drone pilot, because for us to use the service is doing the monetization. Okay.
I showed
Now,
that last week.
right. So now when the FAA gets involved, this is where you have to protect yourself, is that, hey, I'm flying for fun, for my own entertainment, or for the entertainment of my friends. No one's here is in a business or anything else. YouTube decided to make that decision without consulting me as an individual flyer. That's your only really legal defense that you're going to have, because, like you say, it's the intent. What is the intent? Now, when you see my videos, I say my name and my company name. Okay, so my intent is to furtherance of my business, because I'm stating who I am and who my company is, or I represent a company. So if you just get out there and say, "Hey, I'm Joe, whoever," and you're just flying, you're not here to make money.
Just put this in your head. If there's no monetary gain, it's insane.
Right.
There you
There's
go.
no-
Yeah,
there's no way.
if you're not making any money, then your flight was not a commercial flight. You
Right.
weren't paid.
Well,
you weren't paid for it. Period.
like I
End of
say,
story.
we can't even go into the fact of money itself, because furtherance of a business does not always mean direct currency compensation. If you get name recognition to promote your business, that is
The
furtherance of
FAA
a business.
considers it profiting.
But what if you
Yeah.
don't even have? But what if you have no business? You file
Well,
no tax returns. You're a hobbyist, and you have a YouTube channel for your friends.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're
Yeah.
not like that's why I use me as an example. When I do mine, I say who I am and my company name. That puts me in that 107 furtherance of a business category, because I am promoting myself and my product. Okay, if you're just out there having it for yourself, doing it for the guy that used to be called Dan, I don't know, we call him Daisy now with that little scooter he
Nah,
rides.
Danny Darko. It's Danny Darko. That's his new name.
But
Are you on the Vespa?
that's that's the only difference there is he's talking about Misty.
You don't like that
I
comment.
can't hear you. Is it
You're
for me
breaking
or
up.
is it
You're breaking up real bad there, Dre.
Bad.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. And
No,
I was
that's
saying
okay.
that's the intent part that protects you, is that part. You're not a product or a service. You're just there flying. You don't control YouTube. YouTube didn't control you. Yes or no. YouTube provides platform, and that's
First,
part of the
always
problem.
the fact that you own the copyright to your materials,
Right.
and you know that, and unless you expressly give away that copyright, you can't be held liable.
Right.
Like
Well,
Ron was
I-
saying last week, if he did a video, if he does a photo and gives it to a friend, and then the friend uses it on their real estate website or whatever to sell that house, in other words, in furtherance of that business,
Mhm.
right? Doesn't that make sense to you? The only way he would be clear is if he gave copyright away. Consent. That's why I say get it in writing. Always get it in writing. Whether you're giving it away with an invoice of $0 or whatever. But I don't see this becoming a problem for people who don't break the rules, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, so
No,
far,
no,
I don't think the
competition.
FAA has fined anybody for that kind of a violation. Now, they
No.
fined Mikey, but Mikey, in all of those flights, it had a monetized YouTube channel, which meant he had a business.
Right.
And he had no,
he
and he had
that.
right, and he had no 107. So every one of his flights that he posted on a monetized YouTube channel, violation or not, whether he broke a 400 foot or whether he flew, doesn't matter. The mere fact that he put his drone footage on a monetized YouTube channel for furtherance of his income on YouTube without a 107 license means that he violated the law. And I mean, it's clear.
And then the other violations are aside. They're aside.
They're aside. Right. And I've already said that if they really wanted to go after guys for just the in furtherance of a business violations, they could fine every FPV pilot for every flight he posted without a visual observer, which is like most of us. Right. You go out there by yourself, you throw on a pair of goggles, you fly around, you're breaking the law.
Right. And another thing I look at is also that I hate to use Mike as an example, but he is the poster child right now of what not to do is any type of agency, law enforcement, whatever, they're going to look at a pattern of behavior. And that's what killed Mikey more than anything else. It wasn't just the one incident or two. It was a pattern of behavior over a course of time. And that's what they do when they go after organized crime. They look at a pattern of behavior. And I heard guys talk about, well, how come they didn't send him a letter for that flight?
They did send him a letter years ago.
They sent him some letters over the course of the year, say, hey, contact us. They'll do so. But they nailed him because of the pattern of behavior over the course of time. And that's why you get the big proposed fine and everything else, because one, you failed to come check in when they asked you to check in, and two, you continue the same behavior over that course of time. Well, what do you know? It is the original go-go.
The fact is
what's good?
That you should never
stop whispering our ears and talking to the mic like a big boy.
Put your hat on front. Ken, put your hat on frontwards. I saw you wearing it frontwards the other day, and you looked a hell of a lot better. Hey, man,
there you go.
I always wear my hat backwards.
I tell you what, but you walk in the room stepping lightly, we're gonna put you in the same category as Dan with that little scooter of his.
Hey, easy now, man. I just want to get a little wind on my vagina. Everybody calm down here, all right?
Yeah, it's all good. Glad you guys are here. You guys are some of the big timers. I'm glad you guys are here, and you guys have been keeping tabs of what's going on. But this is, how you say, unprecedented times in the FAA and where they will be going in the future.
I mean,
well, we all know really. Remote IDs.
These things happen all the time, though. Like, look in the database. They find people all the time.
Right. Well, like I said, we get people who do egregious events, like the guy who landed his on the airport in Vegas, and
just. I remember 5 years ago when that company Ken got that $19 million fine.
They negotiated it down. Like they got lawyers. They negotiated it down. I mean, they slap. Think of it this way: it's just like a creditor. If you owe money to a creditor, guess what they're going to do? They're going to say you owe X, Y, and Z. But if you're willing to pay right now, they're going to negotiate down with you to a lesser amount. It's the same way. The FAA's like any other business. They're going to hit you high, and they're going to negotiate down. Mike's fines, to be honest, I mean, $1,500, per infraction. I know at first, like the gut check value of $182,000 hits you, like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. But you fucked up 123 times.
Right.
You fucked up 123 times.
Yeah.
So it's like you went to a store and you put 123 items into the cart, 123 plasma TVs.
Right.
Nobody does that.
And being told by the FAA, because he had one where he was on the phone with the FAA, and then, and then getting told by your friends and friends sending you
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where it comes to a point where you can either surround yourself with people that are just going to tell you yes all the time, or you can surround yourself around people that will tell you no, you fucked up, and that's just one of those instances.
Well, like I said, in human nature, and most of us, like I said, like watching a train wreck, you can't turn away. You see what's going on. You want, and you're like, well, why is he doing that? And I was like, oh, Now the big boys step in and smack them upside the head. And we're all thinking our heads,
I mean, some of the stuff, like, it's harmless. Like, it really is. 249 gram quad is not gonna do anything, right? But
Super
the whole
chats,
reason why
yes.
they wanted to get his attention, obviously, and
Yes.
they won. They got his attention.
They
So
did.
nobody will know what will happen until, he probably already submitted his rebuttal to the FAA, and now we just sit back and wait and see, what happens if he divulges that information. I, personally, from a friend standpoint, I wish he would have just not said anything at all, because it wasn't really out there. It wasn't really, nobody was saying anything. There was only like a handful of us that really knew. None of us were going to say anything because he didn't want it to be said. And then he just sort of unleashed the Kraken, and he could have kept it quiet. He could have kept it quiet, not said anything, just sort of see how it played out. Maybe, it could have took a different turn. He had 30 days. You just submit your letter like a couple of weeks ago. No, dude, you work on that and you get that in those people's hands early. It's the holiday time. People are going to be away. So now they got to read it and process it and go back and forth a few times. Like 30 days, for the FAA is not a lot of time. You want to give them as much leadway as possible.
Right.
When you have
there's free drone sites. Like Jonathan Rupert has drone laws. It's a free site.
Right.
Where he tells you all the rules and violations that have gone on, this, that, and the other thing. And the other guy is Antonelli Law out of Chicago.
There's a lot
Jonathan
of them out there.
Rupert's here in Florida.
The hard thing comes into play is like when you're talking about representing somebody, especially for a legal defense like that, you want to know that you can win, right? And I think a lot of people looked at that situation. They were sort of like, wait, how are we gonna win? How, you look at all the information that's out there, all the videos were there. So it's like, you look at that, you're like, shit, there's, it's sort of a slam dunk. It's hard to argue that for free, right? Hard to argue that for free, that there wasn't a crime committed, or it's not even a crime. It's a guideline violation. No. It's not a crime. There was no crime committed. It's all civil. It's not gonna.
It's a rule from an agency, from the Department of Transportation. It's like a speeding ticket.
Right. And if they didn't pick it up, NTSB could have picked it up, so it's I don't know. I think
was something that just happened all of a sudden. I think this is something over the course.
No, this was over a 2-year period, because he thought I was reporting him. He told me he thought I was reporting him to the FAA because
I think he thought a lot of people were.
He's told me a year ago that somebody from Florida was reporting him, so he thought it was me. So I had to tell him no, that it wasn't me.
And I think
I want to know why
he got spooked. He got spooked because somebody was sending him emails. Somebody was sending me emails, like really detailed emails about the fine, like stuff that nobody would have known. Like somebody had to have known, probably the person that was reporting him from the get-go, sending these emails. And I think he got spooked and he just didn't want it to get out there. I think he wanted it on his terms. And, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want. And he did it. So there it is.
All right,
and it's out
let's
there.
answer Tim Jackson's question. So if you get super chats on a monetized drone channel, does that mean you need a 107? Yes, you could technically be held liable.
Yes.
You're sitting here doing a live stream, then no. If you want to be super technical and you want to go by video basis, then no. I mean, the reality is that the FISDOs aren't going to be sitting here looking at everybody's videos. They don't give a shit.
They're not watching any of ours.
They don't give a shit. They really don't. Honestly, they just don't give a shit. And if it went to court over YouTube videos, there's nothing they can do. It's too much of a gray area for them. And people can argue that it's not, but it is. And they have never once tried to find somebody with any monetary value. The one person they tried it never stuck. It never stuck. And he didn't even have to get a lawyer.
They got the money from that company. I don't know about individuals. I know that company, Sky something.
That was different. That wasn't because they were monetized. That was they
that was the reckless flights over New York City.
They had reckless flights, so that was different than 107. The 107 is like you got pulled over for speeding, and you're gonna get a ticket for a seatbelt, right? That's the way I interpret the 107 tacked on to like this other shit.
Let's also interpret what they call reckless flights. they could call a reckless flight being out of line of sight. So just saying reckless flight just means you didn't follow their rules and regulations. It doesn't mean you were flying at people or something.
Right. Technically, if they wanted to smack, like FPV pilots with reckless flight, every time you put on a set of goggles, technically it quads out of our sight, even though it's probably safer. Because
there's no doubt about that. No doubt about
in the pilot seat. But again, like you gotta kick the hornet's nest for them to do what happened here.
Right.
You gotta really freaking piss somebody off. Like I really think you gotta really piss somebody off for that shit to happen like it did.
And it was over a long period of time. This just didn't happen in a month. Like you started off by saying.
It's something that's been going on. I think things I don't know. I think things got ignored, but if you say something, I'll be careful with what I say because I already got a phone call once from him. He didn't like something I said. I basically told him to fuck off.
I don't get phone calls anymore. They stop calling me when they don't like the answer. So
that's the thing. I just you start thinking about it and you're like, no, it didn't need to be said. I don't think it needed to be said.
Yeah.
That's
the
my
only
take
phone
on it.
calls I get are the ones saying your vehicle warranty is about to expire.
Yeah, man. or please access your. I get a lot of your social security number's been suspended.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go along with it just to see what rabbit hole who answers the phone, see how bad it is. But yeah,
I got operator number 5. I keep calling them back, but they just keep sending me to their voicemail. See, it says suspected spam.
Yeah, I love the new spam filters, man.
Yeah, they work like crap.
And you're calling them back?
I call them back 100 times, and I left instructional videos on there because it only let you record for like 5 minutes. I left about 4 hours of recording. I'll fill up his damn mailbox. Huh?
Where's Dan at?
Hello?
Dan's there.
I don't know.
James?
Hey, why do you keep calling me? You little spammer?
Hey, hello? Are you there?
Yeah.
My name is Dante. I'm calling in regards to your paramedic license.
Yeah, why does it say suspected spam?
Well, that's due to the fact that because we're using random dialing through our company, sir.
Okay, so what can I help you with?
So the reason for why I'm calling you is because of your professional license, you're actually entitled to no-cost benefits.
I got enough benefits. Thanks, you too. That's what it is.
You're entitled, Jim, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're entitled,
boy.
man.
You're a big.
Do you feel entitled, Jim?
Do you feel entitled? Yeah, I love it. I love it. You're entitled.
Doctor said I was impotent. I feel impotent.
But Joe Namath told me on TV today, yesterday, because that was the last day they could do the stupid Medicare ads. Joe Namath came on, pointed right at me, and said, "Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to?"
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't feel entitled."
Is that Marlon Brando in the lower left square?
That was Dan.
Dan?
That was Dan.
That was Dan. Yeah.
So anyway, did you see that Drone U had to hop on the bandwagon today?
He's such a jack off.
I did see it, but it further proved my point. It further proved my point that he talks in films through a freaking potato. All this money, I'll never understand it. This guy makes so much money with his classes. You can't buy a decent camera, a good set of audio, or just compose a shot so you can like when you pay for a course, you want to feel like that course is worth the money, right? You want to know who's talking is investing back into the product that they're selling. And this dude he's filming on like a webcam from a Lenovo laptop. I don't know what he's doing. It looks like shit.
It was terrible. The white flare was unbelievable.
Oh, always. It's just, it doesn't cost. DSLRs are so cheap. Like, seriously, I'm almost ready to start a GoFundMe for Paul so that way he could get a decent camera.
He could just be frugal, saving his money. Maybe the business is doing that bad.
Dude,
Can't
if you're
invest in new
paying,
equipment.
you got suckers buying into $2,000 classes and stuff.
That's suckers, all right.
Dude, when you made your video, I laughed because I remember he did a video with Skydio and hyping Skydio.
Yeah, I was there. I was there when they filmed it. We were at Commercial UAV last year, pre-COVID. We were in Las Vegas. That was the only real manufacturer that I wanted to talk to or even really see. I show up to the booth and they only had one Skydio there, and I said, "Well, where's the demo unit? Where's the other unit so we can see it or even get some time with it?" And they were like, "Oh, Paul has it from Drone U," and I said, "Oh." So, and he comes over, a little douchebag, about 4 feet tall, comes trucking over, not even tall. Oh, it's okay, Art. You're okay, but not even tall enough to ride the rides at Six Flags. This guy comes over,
Right.
and puts the case down, and he put a Drone U sticker on the case.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I was like, what a jackass!
That's ballsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Drone U sticker on the case. I'll never forget it because it was in some of my B-roll that I filmed from that event. So, yeah, not really a fan of them. Not a
Did
fan.
you sit and talk with Scott at all from that the flight controller?
Yeah,
Oh,
I met Scott.
Scott Perezinski.
Yeah, I saw him.
The
I met him.
astronaut.
He's a nice guy. He's a
What
nice
happened to
guy.
that thing?
He's a nice guy, but that
He
product
is.
that product just wasn't for these applications. Like, it was an ambitious design, it was an ambitious goal, but he really put his product into a niche that already has proprietary controllers. Like, that just wouldn't, I don't think it was meant for us. Maybe something else, or like submersibles or something. I don't know.
There is one of those controllers, and there's a company here in Melbourne, Florida, that makes them. That I was showing Mitch a while back, and but getting back to Scott at CES, I sat down and talked to him for about a half hour or so. He was like heartbroken.
About
they had upgraded the software, and we all didn't give it a second chance and all that.
You know what it is? It's hard to fly something like that, right? It's hard to fly something like that. Everybody wants convenience, and anytime you got to plug in a secondary controller to a process that you're already used to, it's not convenient, right? It's not conducive to flying. It's almost a hindrance at that point. I mean,
My thing was you needed a second hand. If
Right.
you were going to steady the thing on the
Third
bottom,
hand.
yeah,
The
you-
third hand.
It's more stuff to lug
It was too
around. Why
cumbersome.
would you want
It
to
was a
lug
cool
around more
idea.
stuff?
It was a cool idea. You know what he should have did was, this is what I think they should have done with that technology, is sell it to a manufacturer that would be willing to make that into a proprietary controller for somebody who needs it. Like maybe somebody who has a missing limb or something, or muscular dystrophy, whatever the case may be. Make it as a remote that can help somebody that needs it. I don't know.
Like a gimp like me with fucked up fingers.
Well, did you try? Did you try and use that? Because I know, I think, did Mike Roche try one?
Yeah, I think Mike did try it. And
I think it's harder for you to use Art than a regular transmitter.
Yeah, it's a little cumbersome to
Yeah.
set it up. If it was one piece, if it was all one piece, I think it would have had a little bit of a shot. But I think honestly it was dead on arrival. Great idea though. I mean, great idea for what it was. It just missed.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but it reminded me of the Coleco controller they had back in the day. It was something similar to that, where you held one in a hand, you had the buttons on there, navigated the joystick on top of it. Just
Never
looked like it would be a little bit difficult. Really?
Well, they sell all these, for Microsoft Flight Simulator on the computer, they have no end to the joystick controllers that are available for that.
That's what it reminded me of, was the old joystick controller for flight simulator games.
Yeah, the hardware's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you need a third hand, because unless you got it locked on a table, like they're talking about how had it locked on a table, you can't secure it. You have the bottom part wiggling around the top part. You just can't fly steady like that.
No, and then I saw when Bill flew it and panicked, he just went out of his mind, losing control. But you
Right.
always have to remember, it's just an item on an item. Your
See, I
remote
know-
never loses control.
And see, people coin Ken Herron with the one that torpedoed that product. I think it was Bill that torpedoed it with that video.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
a laughable video.
Another video that just should not have been released. Like sometimes I really just scratch my head with some of the people that put shit out there. I'm like, why would you put that out? Why would you do that?
He's got one with his finger up his nose, for God's sakes. Don't get me started on Bill.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't understand him.
Yeah,
I
we
don't know.
we put that to bed a year and a half ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
When
Hey,
about
guys.
the time I found out he bought the drone boxes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, say happy birthday to me, guys. Today is my second YouTube birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
Oh,
man.
happy birthday,
Happy
man.
birthday.
2 years. 2 years.
Congrats.
Oh,
shit.
no.
Mute. Hit the mute button. There you go.
Wow. Wow.
Anyway, my second 2 years ago, I put out my first YouTube video.
Good, man.
What a mistake that was.
Right down the rabbit hole you go.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh,
You know
time
what
wasted.
started me on that, Ken? Was when I came out there to Sulphur Springs and flew with you and Billy. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And Bill.
Yeah.
And then Bill had this little dinner thing at Ford's garage, and I was like the only guy that showed up.
Yeah, I remember that. See,
Yeah.
I was going back and forth. I forgot what day it was. I was like, I could not make it out there.
Yeah. Anyway, I showed up. One other guy came in, and I don't remember who it was, and we sat there and had dinner, and that's when I said, Bill, I could do this YouTube thing, and he said you should. So I did. So I got to blame him too.
Yeah, I need to get over to the East Coast and fly a little bit. I haven't been out that way in a long
Well,
time.
damn. We're all over here. Get in touch with us sometime. I got, that park where I fly is fabulous, and you got all you got the beaches and beautiful beaches you can go out to fly on. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm just. There's nothing over really in the Tampa area. Like, there's nothing. I feel like I've flown most of everything here. Yeah. I feel like I've flown it all here. You get bored. I want to go down like towards Sebastian and Fort Pierce.
Yeah, Sebastian Inlet is right here. That's right where Jim and I live.
That's a fun spot to fly. I flew there like I took the X Dynamics Evolve there like 2 years ago, I think.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the Evolve too. I think it's a piece of machinery that rivals DJI.
I wanted to see it too, and what I saw was that they're going to be at CES because all those like notifications are coming out, and I'm like, it seems like that's their trend. They come to CES, they have a new design, and then they don't actually release it till the second CES, which is sort of weird.
Is that like you remember the V-copter was glued down to that platform inside a cage? We couldn't touch it. Get out.
What a scam! What a scam that was, man! What a scam the V-copter turned out to be.
What about that Drone X thing that you keep seeing the advertisements? Is it or X Drone or whatever the hell that scam they keep running?
I haven't seen it.
It never came out.
No, they never came out with it, but I still see ads pop up in on my YouTube feed sometimes when I'm looking for something to watch. I'll see this Drone X, and then I've heard a couple other people mention it too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah, I don't think like V-copter that's dead. The company has like been dormant in February.
Yeah.
They haven't.
I got a question.
I'll trade my Evo 2 and
Al.
for that Evo 2. Oh yeah.
I got a question for Al and for you guys. I saw you guys make a post about the something about the Evo 2 near the frame scraping or cracking or something like that.
Yeah, the
You
body's
guys
crack.
That was
you guys might want to talk about that. Kind of a lot of folks are talking about getting them. 'Cause I guess they're having a big sale these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's not that it's not detrimental to the way it flies, but the chassis. I'm looking at it because it's up there, but the chassis around where the arms are, they crack for some reason. I think it's just the type of plastic that they chose to go with this year. But actually, the previous version, the older version, I noticed it also would suffer from the same sort of cracks on the fairings as well. It doesn't affect the way it flies. It doesn't affect the performance. Even if it totally cracked off, it would still fly just the same. But it's just annoying to deal with. But Altel will warranty it. That's one good thing.
Yeah, I send mine in today. But it's just the point of you paying so much money for something.
Yeah, my brother's Evo 2. My brother had an Evo 2 8K. It literally fell out of the air. Like fell out of the air. I don't know if it had a loss of power or what the deal was. And at first I thought, I'm like, all right, you did something wrong here because you're sort of new to drones. You must have did something wrong. So he sent it in to Autel and they ran the flight logs and they determined that it just had like a loss of power. They saw the battery went from 70 to 0.
Wow.
And they ended up sending him a new drone.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that was
good.
Well,
I was aware of the problem for a while, dude. And every time I flew it, I would look at the frame and didn't see anything. And then, sure enough, man, I checked it the other day, and there's a piece of it that chipped off, and it wasn't significant. It was cosmetic.
I don't fly mine a lot. No, mine sits on the shelf a lot lately. I feel like it doesn't fly, like it's not as nimble as the Mavic lineup. Like it just feels, I don't know.
Yeah. It feels the same way to me. Every time I have a drone job, I don't use. I want to use it. Well, it's not here anymore, but I just don't trust it. I just, I'll take it with me, but I'll wind up using the Mavic 2 or my Phantom 4 Pro. So it's one of those things. But it's going to take 5 weeks to get it back or longer. And I had to pay shipping there. They pay for the shipping return.
Yeah, I don't believe we should be paying for shipping.
No.
Right.
Yeah, dude. I said the same thing too. I was a little bit upset, but it is what it is. I could have bought a shelf from AliExpress and do it myself, but fuck that. It was under warranty. I paid that money for it.
My next question is it the arm that caused the cracking or is it just the stress?
You know what? I think it's got to be the arm, or there's got to be something going on with the harmonics because something that I noticed in that video that 808 State did was when he did that slow motion, like 240 frames of slow motion, like the chassis was like really flexing more than it should. Like the airframe was flexing way more than you would anticipate from anything I've ever seen. So I think it's a combination of the motors. Maybe it's just too much torque from too much thrust possibly, but again, this is heavier than a Mavic. That battery weighs a lot. So I think they're compensating for that as well. I don't know how they could have really got around it, but it's definitely coming from the arms.
I call it the.
But that plastic is not. It's not very durable. I should say. It feels cheap. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's one of your top grade type plastics.
I think they rushed this. I feel like they rushed the design. Like when I saw it at CES, I was like, you know what, this is actually looking pretty good. It's a little ugly, it felt robust, but then when I flew it, like I was sort of like, it's sort of slower. It's not as nimble. Like the old Evo just had a little bit more agility in the air. Like you can feel it was more agile. It had its own set of problems.
Hey, Ken, I got a question for you. Would DroneWorks buy back for me?
I'm sure Zach would.
Oh, he would? I was
I'm sure he would because there's always police departments.
Only have 5 hours on it.
Yeah, I mean, I would just mention it to him and be like, hey, do you guys do buybacks? I can ask him. I'll ask him tomorrow. We're doing dinner tomorrow night, so I'll ask him and see what he says, because police departments will always like, they don't give a shit about cracks. They're going to use this. They just want to get up in the air quickly. They don't care about smoothness or cinematics. They don't care. They just want to get it up in the air. So I'll ask him. I'm sure he might.
It's all good.
I mean, other than that, otherwise, just, you can find a private buyer. They're pretty hot right now. I was contemplating putting mine up for sale just to see like what I would get. I was thinking like they start out at, $16.99. I'm going to put it up for $14 and let somebody chew me down.
Did you guys see the report from the Department of Defense about changing their policy on DJI drones?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it came out today. They're changing their policy about DJI or any other Chinese-made drones. And I just kind of giggle. I can say, look what a difference of election can make.
But that's
I was just thinking that myself.
That's just it, man.
Yeah, so I guess the Department of Interior start picking theirs back up too pretty soon, because they had a big investment.
600. They had 600 of them. The BLM.
Yeah. and just have them sitting on the shelf. Because I didn't see no flea market sale on them.
Now, Bob, that statement, the FAA is not looking to make example of pilots. They're not. They're not looking at YouTube channels and trying to screw us. But when people start reporting your channel to the FAA, which was the case here, I don't know about anything else, because Mikey himself said that people were doing it.
But people have to understand, Mike made a lot of enemies. Prime example, the day I was up there in Philadelphia to go meet him. Prime example of just typical Mike. We go to meet him, go fly that freaking bridge. Mike comes out, he's like, yeah, I'm trying to park, and these assholes, parked in my spot, blah, 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 blah. I got into words with them. We're walking back to the car, his tire's slashed. Why? Mike pops off to the wrong person. You're in Philadelphia, they slashed your tire. It's just...
I'm surprised, man. He went off on your show against the FAA, and I was like, wow.
It's more like he lost.
Bro, I was dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded.
I thought it was a skit at first.
I did not. I thought he was doing something, but I did not. And then he said it. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Jake Sloan's face said it all, man.
I don't think you did Mike any favors on that show. I don't think he did himself any favors. That's for damn sure.
Do him a favor. He did it. He did that to himself. Mike, everything you do, you do
I know.
on YouTube.
I know that.
I pulled the stream. Like I normally don't pull things, but I pulled the stream because I was like, after watching it back, I was like,
oh yeah, I don't blame you.
I didn't know you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to pull the stream because what happened was Drone XL wanted to do an article with him, and I said to Mike, I said, Drone XL wants to talk to you. They want to talk about the situation. I said, just, I said, I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm going to give him your number. You can talk to him. You can either say yay or nay, because ultimately it's his decision, right? And then he did the article. And then after the article came out, I was just sort of like, maybe not a good idea. Because where the article goes, like, you really can't defend yourself. You're blindsided. There's two sides to everything.
The articles, he's becoming famous. I mean, literally famous.
Infamous.
There's articles popping up about him in national publications.
It's different, though, Mitch. It's not famous. It's infamous.
Infamous.
But some people live by the adage that even bad publicity is still publicity.
Yeah, I mean, sure, that there could be a case to be argued for that as well. I mean, I don't know. I just think that, I don't know.
I don't want any federal agency, which is an agency of the Department of Transportation, which is under the judicial branch of the United States government, after my ass.
No, me neither. Avoid the system. Always avoid the system. I say that all the time.
I
those guys that have agents knock on my door. That's some scary shit.
They're gonna do it. All you can do is line up the shot and let them either knock it down or fail. And,
listen, I've had the police here 5 times. I get neighbors literally coming up to my door screaming at me, and
my thing is,
and I fly legally.
I'm more afraid of like when you start posting content like that online, somebody can make a false claim on you, and that could happen. Or you think about the people that get swatted. Like, look what happened. I hate to bring him up again, but look what happened to Bill. Somebody figured out his home address and freaking swatted him while he was live.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got swatted.
A couple years ago. Yeah,
like that's sort of scary stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a YouTube channel. I forget his name now. While he was swatted, and they gang rushed at the front door and all. Oh my God, with guns out.
Yeah, guns a-blazing, man. They don't mess around with that, They don't mess around with that.
If you don't know what swatted is, somebody calls the police on you while you're doing a live stream and says you're killing your wife. Yeah. Or they say they're you and you just murdered your wife and you want to turn yourself in. They come with all they've got. Rifles out. And it's some scary crap.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, I think nowadays they do some cross-referencing to make sure, because somebody got killed from that. Somebody got shot.
Oh, really?
So I know they don't just like come in, guns a-blazing. Obviously, everything's under close scrutiny today, but yeah. I mean, I know everybody's up in arms like with the FAA, but like from all that leaked stuff from the NPRM, I mean, if they're talking about, you know, knocking us down to 300 feet without remote ID, like you don't need remote ID for under 300 feet, honestly, I don't give a shit.
No, I'd be happy with that.
I'd be fine. Like, since I started flying FPV, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm 30 feet max in the air. I don't care. Like, I find things more interested in proximity than I do. Like, I don't want to fly as high as I can and look down. That's no longer interesting to me. Like, mentally, my mindset's changed. But that's me. A lot of people still like to send it to the moon, but
I don't know. Once I'm at 400 feet, you know, I can no longer see with the $2,000 camera on the front what the hell I'm looking at. If you know what I mean. Like if you're flying X Dynamics, the second one, which has got the 21 megapixel camera on it and all that, you're not getting the shots you want at 400 feet anyway. That's just for flying and having fun, I guess.
Honestly, like I haven't, like I can't even tell you. Like I got the Mavic Mini 2. I've flown that thing all of 4 times. Like all of 4 times, and I haven't flown it. I pick up a Mavic, and I'm just like, like I've lost complete interest for the camera drones. I use them because I have to use them when I film real estate, but I don't use them because I want to use them. I used to use them because I wanted to use them. Now I don't have that same exhilaration. So
well, FPV does that to you.
Yeah.
You know, it did it to me. The FPV did the same thing to me. It's
like a bad drug, man. It's like a bad drug. It screws you up, dude.
Yes, drone crack. I mean,
just keep going in for another hit.
Yeah,
every pack.
No doubt, no doubt.
And I keep seeing you guys spending money.
I just sent. Al just bought my my XL5. I stopped flying. I'm only flying one frame. I'm flying my Source 1 frames. I've got 3 of them built, and that's all I fly now. I don't fly. I'm just consistently flying those 3, just so I can just get a good feel for it. They're not the best frames, but they're cheap. So if I break something, it's not as much to fix it.
Tim, Mike says
I'm excited. Can't wait.
This name called Rich Caruth. I don't know who that is.
Yes, that's who emailed me, and I don't know. I've researched it, and it came up with a dead guy. But Rich Caruth seems like a very like sort of a common name. The last name Caruth seems common, like sort of like
a baseball player.
Right?
Yeah, it does, don't it?
Rich Caruth, that's the best.
And come up to the plate. Yeah. It's Rich Caruth.
Man, that sounds like a great quarterback.
See, you have a football player, Ray Caruth. He's doing time in North Carolina for murdering his pregnant girlfriend.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, though, is, you know, like with Mike's situation, if telemetry wasn't displayed, life would have been fine.
No, man, he shouldn't have been in his Cadillac Escalade looking through the sunroof, taking off with a Mavic 2 Pro, going over to the 547-foot-high City Hall across 4 lanes of traffic that go around it. You know, geez, where did you start?
To be fair,
yeah, I mean, a case could be made for that.
The case,
I guess.
There was a video where somebody dove City Hall, so there was no traffic. But
well, didn't Billy Kyle? You guys all flew downtown at night in the dark. In the dark,
City Hall all the time. But the difference is, a lot of times when we're flying City Hall, you're directly over City Hall's building when they're closed. Like, it's not like people think it's super busy. More so with the pandemic, there's nobody. Like, the streets of Philadelphia are freaking dead. Like, it's freaking dead. It's a ghost town. So that's.
But it is surrounded by a 4-lane highway.
It's not a highway around City Hall. There's 2 streets. There's oncoming traffic, but it's not always busy. Like, it's not always busy. But even still, if you're directly over the building or like right up next to William Penn, like if you're butted up to William Penn, let's say if you had ESC failure, guess where that drone's going to go? It's going to land on the roof of City Hall. It's not going to land into traffic. It's not going to fall. It's going to land. And
not only that, Ken, but if you've got a 107 license, you're flying in a non-controlled airspace area.
Exactly.
With a 107 license, you can fly 400 feet over the top of the building.
I can do that. He could
legally.
Not.
You can do that, but he can't. Correct.
Right.
That's correct.
And we've done it safely. Like, we've flown the city safely numerous times. I mean, you just got to be smart. Like, a lot of our flights are always in close proximity of whatever building it was that we were flying, right? So we could see, you know, how close we were to the building. We can see, you know, mostly what's beneath us. There's certain buildings I wouldn't fly next to or fly around because it just impeded too much on the street. But Philly, a lot of the buildings are like stacked. Like there's buildings next to buildings, so you can be, you know, flying next to one of the scrapers, but beneath you is another building. So if it falls, it's essentially going to hit that building, more or less.
I don't know if you've ever been to New York City, but the skyscrapers create a wind tunnel.
They do.
So
they do in Philly, too.
When you're trying to fly your drone, it could automatically go like this, whoosh, because the wind whipping around those buildings is ferocious.
Like that first time.
It is, but like we never flown like when it was gusting. Like most of the days we're there pretty docile when we flew. I can't speak for like what Mike flew. I can just speak for, you know, the times that I have flown Philly specifically. Never really was windy. There was one night where it was really, really super windy, and I only flew directly over the river. I can't even think of the name of the river, but I flew directly over the river to get a shot. So if it was going down, it was going in the river or hitting the railroad tracks, one of the two. So those were like my course of action, like in that situation. But
right. So you knew where it was going to go if it died.
Well, if
given the opportunity, I would fly Philly downtown.
If it was going to
under no control airspace,
if it was going to fall, it was either going to go in a river or the track, one of the two, because I was in the middle. I was in the middle of the railroad tracks and the river, so there was no pedestrians to the left of me, no traffic. It's just a river, and it's pretty wide. And I mean, the one good thing is if you have in a flyaway, most of the time you still have your elevation that you can control. Like you may not be able to control where it's going, but you can sure as hell take it down, or just bucket stick in and let it fall. Right? Those are your options.
Yeah.
So I mean, push came to shove, I'm going stick in no matter what.
And
I should have did that. I should have did that one night, but I still was able to maintain some control over it. But I should have went stick in on it. Luckily, it was it crashed into a parking garage.
What do they call that? Quickly, when you put your sticks in, it's CSC.
What's that?
It's the emergency shut off.
It'll shut your motors off. Yeah.
But again, that's more of the reason like why I prefer flying. Like if I'm in the city, I'd rather fly FPV at this point because I don't got to worry about that. Like I don't got to worry about GPS. I don't have to worry about any of those things. I can see all the information I need right on the screen. And a lot of times, like my quads are 400 grams, so they're registered, and 400 grams is my max takeoff weight. Maybe a little bit more if I'm flying with the Hero 9, but you calculate your things, and I don't know. I trust those more than the GPS drones, at least in those situations. So, like I dove the SunTrust building the one night. There's no traffic on that side street because it's construction. That's the perfect building to dive. There's no traffic on the opposite side. I dove through it, went right through an abandoned building on the backside. Like the perfect spot to do it on. But
now, where's that at? In Tampa?
Downtown Tampa.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, you're just on the backside of the airspace. So the way Tampa's airspace is set, it like cuts. So it'll cut so where like you need authorization to the left. But if you're on the backside where the buildings are, you don't need authorization because the planes don't fly over that section, which is pretty dope.
We've got weird airspace here too.
Yeah, because I had gotten called one time because they asked me about a daylight waiver, and I was like, yeah, I could fax you over, or I could read you the certificate number off of it because we have one with DroneWorks. Like we have an outstanding waiver. So I gave it to the guy, and he left me. The FSDO didn't say anything else. He was like, thank you. Didn't try to educate me, nothing. As soon as we sent him the daylight waiver, they just left. They left us alone immediately. I was like,
what? They asked you for? They asked you if you had it?
For my daylight waiver. There was like for a video a while back ago.
Oh.
So they asked me if I had a daylight waiver. And I said, yeah.
What if you just said, oh, I was recreational at the time?
No, because I was over 400 feet.
Oh, okay.
I dove a building. If I would have said I was recreational, he would have still asked me for my daylight waiver because the building is 410 feet. So Zach was just like, look, give him the waiver.
Right.
And there you go. They didn't say anything beyond that.
That's why I didn't need to. But when all this crap came out, I got my 107, and then I went and got a certificate of airspace authorization, wide area. It was so easy. It's paperwork. It was so easy because I didn't want to put up with any crap. I didn't want any crap from the word go.
It's just easy enough to get it, and now I'm hearing that we're not going to have to have that waiver soon. That they're going to allow. They're going to
get rid of it with blank, right?
Yeah, they're going to allow us to fly without the waiver, but you'll still have to have your beacons. You'll have to follow all the rules, but we're not going to have to apply for that daylight waiver. Which, if that's the case, that'll help and hurt because then more people like that do the thermal scans are going to start upping. Like then the price goes down because right now I can charge more because there's not as many people because for a while they weren't approving waivers. But now if they let people do that, then everybody's going to be freaking scanning. It's going to be a pain in the ass.
Right.
So there's a pro and a con to it. You make it to where you don't need the rule. Now it's like, oh, crap. Now everybody can just go ahead and start scanning, and then the price goes down. So it sucks.
Right.
So I sort of like this.
Cool. I don't understand why they haven't been able to put fans on these damn things yet, like to get the bigger sensors, because I can't tell you how many people I refuse to buy, and so many people have told me that the Mavic Enterprise 2 is a piece of junk with a FLIR Lepton on it. And the only thing I would ever fly is the FLIR View Pro, which is the 640. Right. And then when I saw that, the orange one at the CES, that they had a 320 on it, I was like, why the hell can't somebody come up with a fan to cool these things off? Or even the better cameras.
Well, they need like cooling pipes in these or something, like some sort of passive cooling. You know what I mean? Like I think we're getting to the point where we're butting up against the limits of thermal dynamics with some of these cameras. So they need to make a cooling pipe. FLIR has the technology. They have the technology. I just don't think they have the capacity to put it into these smaller sensors. Maybe in another year or so, I can see them being widely available. Because it'd be awesome to have better and smaller. For me personally, I'd rather have a smaller drone like the Evo. That thing worked phenomenal.
Right.
For what we were using it, but didn't have the radiometric, which was a bit of a bummer. You can't do the proper stitching, so that's a problem.
And that they don't. I'll tell you, those things keep their value. That FLIR View Pro R, the original big boy, is still $5,000. You're not losing money if you buy one of those things, is what I'm getting at.
Pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy how they still sell for so much.
And nuts. People don't know how to read them. You know, you got to do your emissivity settings and all that stuff. Just having a FLIR, it's a $2,000 license to get also when you're going for ITC certification.
Yep. All right, man. Well, I gotta jump to Half Chrome. I'm gonna be on their podcast tonight.
All right, man. Thanks for coming.
Good to see
I'll
you,
talk to
Ken.
everybody later.
Thanks for stopping by.
So Ray Kelly, you were just here, Ray, and then you popped out. It wasn't me.
Hey, Matt.
Matt, what's going on in Australia?
How you going, boys? What's going on with Al's camera? Is he there or not?
Yeah.
I am here. Why? Am I frozen?
Frozen.
Oh, yeah, you're freezing.
You moved.
Oh, now that you moved,
it's been happening all day.
It's the motion sensor.
Look like your bandwidth is getting low because you're getting a little pixelated.
I just had him as a black screen. I didn't see anything. I just heard him, but that's all right. How's everyone going today?
Doing
good,
all
Matt.
Right.
How's the pre-summer months down under coming along?
Yeah, a bit weird down south, man. It was like winter the last few days, and now she's come on warm again. It's
snow in Tasmania.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah, my girlfriend's sister. She's married to an Aussie, and she lives in Tasmania, and she showed a short video of the snow out in their backyard.
I wouldn't be surprised if a bit of a cold snap, but where I am up in Brisbane, they'll be getting nailed hot, mate, bloody hot, and she's going to be a hot summer this year up there. And I'll actually be able to get out of here on Sunday. So the borders are opening Sunday.
There you go.
Yeah, got to make a mad dash out of here. Otherwise, if something happens again, I'm stuck for another 28 days.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Quick one though, eh? Yeah, thanks. Sorry, mates. Yes, I've got to make I can get a quick dash out of here, man. I don't want to be stuck for another 28 days, I've got to say.
How do you
Nothing
get the time
my
off
parents,
for work?
You know.
Well, yeah, but
I
they
just
wanted you out a week ago.
Yeah, but no, they're understanding, mate. I spoke to them again yesterday. I gave them the date that I'll be leaving. So I said, yeah, no worries, just give us a bell when you get back.
Cool.
So they're not too fussed, mate. Yeah, so no, that's a good thing. But another tour. I'll probably stretch it out for another 3-day drive, so I don't push myself. Just chill out and drive.
Carlos says, I'm
desert.
more worried about hanging out in the park and having some amateur golf to hit. You guys who fly FPV and have those goggles on, that's not me. I mean, I saw a guy, oh my God, what was it, almost a year ago. He was flying and he got robbed at gunpoint. They came up behind him.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Trey?
I don't remember about it. I'm just imagining somebody walking behind
about that. I get worried about that. I think it's
your
just
first instinct is to turn around. You got these goggles on.
Yeah, I always turn.
What I'm look around me.
So do I. I turn it around. There I am. No one around me, so I just keep going. Then.
Any little
Fantastic.
noise. Have a good night.
Yeah. Let the drone crash. I don't care what's behind me. Yeah. It is a bit of a way. You know what I thought that probably 2 years ago when I had maybe not that long. Anyway, there's a bloke down the park and he's flying FPV, and I walked up to him and he took his goggles down and we're having a bit of a chat, and he goes, because I was just mucking around with some slow mo. I'm trying out the slow mo on the Mavic Pro, and anyway, he goes, what you got there? And I said, Mavic Pro, and he goes, yeah, that's a nice drone. I said, yeah. And I said, what do you got there? So he showed me his little quads and all that. And anyway, he goes, I'll show you. So he put his goggles on and took off. And my first thought was, I could smack you on the back of the head and you wouldn't know a thing about it, you know? Mm-hmm. Unreal. Yeah. And it would be so easy too, if you were so inclined. And you never do know. You never know.
I wouldn't be comfortable enough to do that. I wouldn't feel comfortable enough to put those goggles on and not have somebody around me.
I'm getting used to it because I used to fly only in my backyard, but now I'm starting to venture out a little bit more. Like today I went and flew in the parking lot out by this grass field. And like I said, any little noise I heard, I flew the drone back to see what was around me. But you are defenseless. I mean, anything can happen.
You get so involved with what you're looking at too, you know, because it takes a fair amount of concentration. Yeah, you got to concentrate a fair amount on what you're doing, you know, because every single stick movement is what your drone's going to be doing, you know, and as you're learning, like I am, there's a lot of correction going on. You know? so it's a constant thing. I saw that video of yours, Art, where you're flying around in the lounge. Now, flying it around in the house is a different story again. You know, you don't have to obviously go as far to go get it, but there's the 2S battery which comes with this tiny hole. I cannot fly that inside. It's got too much guts in it, and you just got to touch it, and she's up on the ceiling, and then it's down on the ground, and then you overcorrect, and it's back up the ceiling again. It's just a little powerful little battery. It's no good. So these little 1S, man, they're the go for around the house. That's for sure. Yeah.
Matt, I think you're gonna get that FPV DJI FPV kit. You thinking about it? That whole bundle.
Well, no, not at the moment. Not at the moment. I mean, I've yet to have a look at it, and I would definitely, before I'd go to jump into anything like that, I would be waiting till it comes out and looking at reviews. That's what's got me into what drones that I've got now, is reviews and people who are getting them, the pros and cons. But to me, to look at that FPV drone, it doesn't look like it's going to take a smack into a tree very well. And it won't be a cheap thing to fix. And what I do like about it though is it's got the camera that keeps the angle. So as you punch it, the camera's it's not a 3-axis gimbal, obviously, but it keeps that camera angle as far as I'm aware. So that's a really great thing when you're dealing with that, because you've got to obviously set your cameras manually at an angle, and if you go past that angle, then you obviously lose your vision. But I like the fact that camera stays where it is, so that's a plus for that. That's for sure.
Which drone are you talking about has a camera that goes like that?
The FPV, the DJI FPV drone, yeah.
Two-axis gimbal? Does it have a 2-axis gimbal on it? Is that what you're saying?
It might be 2, or it might even, I don't know, it might even be 1. But as far as I'm aware, it keeps your camera where you've set your camera. It keeps it at that. So if you're flying aggressively, your camera is going to adjust to keep your vision where you need it. That can be a good and bad thing, I think, when it comes to FPV, because it really doesn't give you an idea of what pitch you're actually flying at. You know, to correct, I don't know. It'd be a weird thing to fly with, I think, because, you know, if you set your camera up and you cane it forward and give it full throttle, you know you've pitched that aircraft, and you can see how pitched it is actually in your vision. If your camera's staying horizontal, it really gives you no indication of how much you've actually pitched. So I don't know if that's going to be easier or harder.
Yeah, why would you want to do that if you're flying FPV?
Yeah, I don't know.
More stable footage. Cinematic.
Absolutely. Yeah, well.
Cinematic. Get a camera drone.
Buttery smooth FPV flying.
There you go.
Yeah.
Buttery.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a bit of a hit and miss, that one. I think I definitely wouldn't be spending the money that they'll probably be asking for these things to go and get one. I think you're better off with the old school. The digital system, fantastic. That's an absolute bonus, and you could look at doing something that with the quads that people already got anyway. But to go out and get that drone as well, I'm not too sure about that drone. But digitally is obviously a nice picture. So probably something you'd look at in the future.
Man, I think either YouTube or Davinci. What are you talking about, Al? You know, your picture still isn't moving.
It's still not? I just checked my my internet speed. It's like 560 something, and the up is like 45.
Wow.
That's where it should have been happening.
Yeah, 45 killing you.
I don't know.
Because your camera is your upload.
Down, 18 up, and I'm smooth.
Well, what I think the problem is with the FAA and CASA in the UK and RPAS, whatever it's called in Europe, I think the problem is they have to prove that you got educated. It's not enough that you had a cell phone since the age of 12 and they've had a website since 2016 that tells you the rules. People are still saying they didn't know the rules. You all knew the rules when you flew the drone. So now if they're going to make everybody be a 107, they should have done it from in the first place.
Yeah.
There are, you know, sorry, mate.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. There is a lot. I mean, I'm a member of a couple of those, you know, drone freaking FPV, Facebook pages, right? You know, and there's a lot of people who are getting into drones. I mean, granted, they're actually asking the questions, but there's a lot of people who are getting drones who know absolutely not a stitch about where they can fly, how to fly them, and it's their first drone, etc. But as I said, they're in there asking the questions, which is a good thing. What they don't need to hear from these people who have been flying is an answer like, read the manual. No one wants to hear that shit. No one wants to hear that shit. You're in these groups to help each other out. There's no good just kicking someone in the guts for asking a question, and that shits me. you know. But they're in there asking the questions. But as I said, they have no idea, no clue about the rules, and they've already got this drone. Now, whether they've been out to the park and they've just ripped it up there and done whatever, who knows how they've done it and how they've flown or how legally they've actually done it. And they have no idea themselves. So, you know, you've got to have some knowledge, and people just are unaware that, you know, there are actually risks involved when you start dealing with altitudes and other aircrafts and all that sort of thing, because people still look at them as being a toy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is part of the problem.
Even when it's, you know, are we talking FPV or these Phantom 4s? Because when they first came out.
All of them. People think of all of the same thing. It just doesn't matter. They think, when you even out there you're flying yourself, people walk up to you and say, "Oh, what kind of toy drone you got?" They don't say drone; they say toy drone. First thing that comes, toy.
$3 grand's worth of toy, mate.
Right. Yeah.
I never heard that toy drone part, but
oh yeah, they'll come up in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, and use that phrase.
Can my kids fly it? Yeah, anyone can fly it.
Yeah. And that's why, I don't know, for me, that's why I'm a big push for making more of a differential between hobbyists and 107, because you need a distinct thing. You know, it's like anybody got a driver license and go drive in Talladega. That ain't gonna happen. You know. You know, it just ain't gonna happen. That's why we professional race car drivers, and you got the rest of us average mucks who can't drive down the street without getting a wreck.
Right, and then you get dumbasses like this who fly in the mall. I think his name is Carlos, back from the sky.
I've always wanted to do that, but an empty mall. Just saying.
There's a few around in the States now, isn't there? Abandoned malls and stuff. I think Rick Halber had had one up there. It just got bought out by the casino.
They don't let anything stand here. They knock it down quick with the homeless population in California.
Oh yeah, the homeless get in there and burn it down.
Oh yeah, if it's
oh my God, there's people in there.
Yeah.
Hey, why would you do that?
It was Paulie and John Bump, but they were up on the top. They were up on the top
because
level.
I can.
And it's FPV.
It's a small little drone. I'm not just going to say that. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
It's the like the Cinedrone, like the one you got, Matt.
No, it's like a tiny hawk with a better camera.
Yeah. Okay, with a better camera.
Well, the camera looks pretty good from what it's coming out of.
Yeah.
That was the split cam. Was that the split cam?
This is Birdie flew on this one.
But this is what I'm saying right here. Drones. People in the mall are not getting all excited about this because it's a little tiny drone, and the first thing they think it is, it's a toy.
There they are.
Look at the little toy drone. Look at the little toy drone. And we're sitting talking about how great the footage is.
Yeah. It's Christmas time. You know, they probably wouldn't think twice about that either because it's Christmas time and someone's selling these things in the mall and they're just showing someone a demo.
Right.
Exactly.
You know,
they actually do have them in our mall. They actually do sell them in the middle of the mall. Yeah. Not this type. I don't know what the hell they sell, but I've seen them.
It's a 65 millimeter drone. That's what Carlos said, with an HD camera on it.
Yep. There you go.
Good stuff.
There you go.
Hey, Jim, got split here. Okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Ready. Yeah.
Take care, Art.
Have fun.
Hey, take care, Art. I'm heading right behind you. I'm gonna bounce out.
And Matt, good seeing you. Al.
Yeah, mate.
Everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Right behind you, partner. Hey, Mel, jump in here real quick.
Oh, it had an HD camera on it. Okay.
All right, I'm out, Jim.
See you, Dre.
Take care, Dre.
It was a good camera on it. It's a really wide field of view on it too. What was that? What sort of camera was it on that?
He said it was a run cam. It's got a run cam, 1080, 60 frames per second. It's pretty good quality. When I seen it, I was impressed.
1080, 60. That's all you need, isn't it?
That's true. The FAA has no jurisdiction inside a mall. That would have to be the police.
That's correct.
It would be
And
the
then
police.
and then what would they arrest you for? Or would you get ticketed?
They won't even ticket. I think they would just
No.
warn you and probably tell you to stop. I don't think they would do anything other than that.
That's why I think we blow some of this out of proportion, don't you? If what?
Of
Matt?
course they do. Of course they blow it out of proportion, mate. They always do. You know, I mean, there are some substantial breaches which should be noted, but in order to push their agendas, as I've said in the past, in order to push all this shit through and to push these agendas, they've got to blow everything out of proportion to justify all the shit. You know, the rules they have are good rules. You know, don't go over 400, don't go this, don't do that. You know, the 30 meters and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. Line of sight and all that sort of bizzo. But when something happens, it's usually, I don't know, it's either pilot error or the drone takes off and does whatever it likes. But whatever it is, you know, they've got to push these points and push them to a point where they can justify everything else that they're putting out there. Otherwise, the word safety is irrelevant, because there's a lot of things that doesn't come down to safety. It just comes down to compliance, because some of these rules don't really apply in every situation, but they've got to be general. They've got to generalize the whole thing. You know, I mean, there's a difference between flying, you know, a mile away in the city than what it is to flying a mile away out over the ocean. You know,
exactly.
There's probably nothing safer you could do. I
was saying that too. When Justin Dunhill does his range tests on the top of a mountain in Hawaii, who gives a shit? But if you're doing it in the middle of a busy city, then there's a problem.
See, he's got issues there too.
It's common sense, right? That's all.
That's right. That's right. But he's got issues there too, because he is, as you said, on top of a mountain. Now he's going into a valley, so his 400 feet is no longer applicable. Absolutely. It's. I don't know how high he's flying. I mean, I've seen a couple where he brings his altitude down, but his 400 feet quickly disappears and turns into 800 feet without much of a problem, you know.
From the ground,
Yeah, absolutely. ATL, mate, directly below the drone.
Yeah, but he's not showing any telemetry on his screen. I think that's not. That's the key indicator there. Even though if you're doing right or wrong, if that's shown on your video, it's obvious. You're going to get in trouble, especially if someone's reporting you.
Well, that's right. Yeah, there's just the evidence is there, isn't it? But yeah, again, where he's flying, you know, what's it going to do? Nothing really.
True.
I never got the point of people doing range tests. I mean, if you were doing a range test, you remember when these first came out with the original light bridge, it wasn't that good. You couldn't go that far. And I think that's what started all the range tests as they came out with enhanced light bridge and then light bridge 2 and all OcuSync. I think that's where all this started from.
I think it's the thrill of seeing how far you can get. You know what I mean?
It can be too. Exactly right. It still amazes me, you know, that you can be standing somewhere and 5Ks down, your little drone's out there doing its thing, you know, and whatever. I do find that pretty cool. But I think range tests these days are fairly redundant, because we all know that a drone will go 5Ks without losing video signal. We all know this, and it's not a special thing anymore. It used to be like drone footage itself. Drone footage used to be unique. It used to be something to look at and go, holy moly, look at this.
Now it's a dime a dozen.
Yeah, and now it's just nothing special about it. And you've got to change the way you fly and do all sorts of things to make any sort of drone footage interesting. And it's the same with these range tests. Unless you're running out of battery and you've made a thumbnail going, almost made it back, crashed into the sea, people are going to punch on it. If it just says range test, what's going to happen? Not much, you know.
So we can all agree it's about the views. People
about the views
on their videos, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. But anyway, that's what some people just do. But I very rarely watch a range test anymore, because it really doesn't interest me, because I know what these drones can do. You know, we all know what these drones can do. There's nothing special about the distance they get now. You know?
I find myself always watching Adrian's range test.
Which one?
All of them. I just continue to watch them on autoplay.
Isn't that all he does?
Well,
I just want to see you guys' reaction. I'll beat it, dude.
Does he do anything but a range test?
He
did an A-gas test.
Quality.
He did, and that was actually a really good video. I did like that video that he did of that A-pass. That was really good. That was the Air 2, wasn't it? Really?
I think it was before that.
Was it? Well, he's done so many of them.
He walked around all the trees and all that.
Out the door, and then start the drone up and start recording.
That was no, I think it was the Air 2 when he first got that.
Was it? Okay. Underage doesn't matter. The FAA has no jurisdiction inside a building. That's true.
Well, there you go. Capture Live Connections got here. Sometimes I pop the chat in, but I can't see anything else. But I'm just reading here. Capture Live Connections. Find myself flying lower and slower as I grow in the hobby. Exactly right, mate. You know, and from day one on my channel, you'll find that most of my footage is down low through shit and all that sort of crud where it was never done before. And now everyone's getting sick of the 400 feet. Have a look at the river. You know, I've always liked to get down into it and have a real good look around. You know, and
I don't know about you two. I find myself not enjoying flying anymore. Where I used to want to fly, now I just in terms of like the camera drones, I do it so I can stay nimble on the craft and for jobs when I have them and I come across them. But I start flying FPV and it just seems like it's just more fun to do that than anything else. Maybe I caught that bug or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
That's how I've been feeling lately, man. It's just like I'm not really interested in flying as much the camera drones as a hobbyist as I used to be. Inspired.
Well, I said that a couple of weeks ago when I first got that Tiny Hawk, and I went out and flying it. And I think, I don't know if you remember though, Jim, I think it might have been on your show. Very, very rarely do I ever grab my Mavics to go down to the park just to chuck them up in the air, because 22 minutes of just flying around the same area.
Yeah.
And you don't really have to fly it. There's no real thrill about it. But
you find yourself looking for stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you have to drive farther, and then you've been there, you've done that, so it gets kind of like repetitive.
Do it again. And that's what I found about the FPV is I'd come home and I'd charge those batteries straight up again, because the whole thing, and as I said to you, got me back to the days of when I was flying fixed wing. You had to fly it. You had to have your shit together. You had to watch what was going on. And this is, I'd forgotten all about it. And as soon as I strapped that FPV on, and I thought, this is what I enjoyed about flying. It was something that you had to concentrate on.
I just always wondered how other people felt about that who flew camera drones. You know what I mean? Do you get bored? Do you fall out of places to go to all the time? You've been there, done that.
I was sitting there watching videos, and even your own videos. Do you ever go back and watch them and say, holy crap, I didn't know I caught that in that video?
Sometimes.
There's some interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, it's like a comedy. Sometimes you have to watch the movie twice before you get all the jokes.
Yes.
Good analogy.
You have to, it can be like that, and especially if you press record and that's what you do, and you just leave it running, because there's a lot of stuff that you'll probably capture that you wouldn't capture normally. I used to do that with the Spark when I was dealing with 1080p and 24 megabit. A 64 card would last me probably 10 hours, but when it comes to the 4K 30 and all that sort of shit at 100 megabit, it takes up a lot of memory, man. And I started filming differently with the Mavic Pro, and I've carried that on with the Pro 2, where I'm stop and start, lining shots, exposing, getting everything right, do the shot, stop, record, off you go again. Saves a lot and in post, as I've said in the past, it's so much easier to edit, because you know that every single file is a potential shot. You don't have to go through a shitload of footage. It's a lot easier, man. A lot easier. Are you selling that Evo?
It's off. I sent it to. I had to pay $44 to get it shipped, to Autel, they'll ship it back to me. I don't have to pay for that, but it'll be gone for 5+ weeks.
Hang on, what's wrong with your Autel?
Yeah, the crack, dude. Got a crack on it. It's obviously common. It's common. We were talking about when Ken was on the show.
Yeah, okay. Well, so were the Phantoms, if you remember.
I do remember the Phantoms. I used to have a little slight cracks, but this one's just above the arm where it extends out. So there must be some type of vibrating going on there or something like that. But it's common. Good, I've seen it on threads and forums. So for the money I pay for that, man, you don't want to have issues like that, man. I mean, it's just cosmetic, but it's the point.
Yeah, but who gives a shit? You know, as you said, you're paying that much money. You don't need it to be cosmetically falling to pieces.
Well, somebody made a reference that I could, buy the body from AliExpress, which I knew for a while, and then change it myself. But why would I want to do that when it's under warranty? It's less than a year old, dude. Probably less than 6 months. Like, F that. You know what I mean?
Guys, look at this video, okay? And what I'm talking about is that a long time ago, when I first made this video, Mitch said to me, Jim, there's a drone flying there. And I said, no, it's probably just part of that. I'm pointing at the friggin' screen. He said, I said, it's probably just part of that foam. But look at the fence, and you see a white dot. And underneath that white dot, the water is moving. And this is what I said. Do you ever watch your own videos? Apparently, I didn't. Because I did not see this. Now, let me turn it on. Now it's playing. Look at the water moving underneath that white dot.
I seen it. That was above the ceiling of that warehouse, right?
Yes. See it right there along the fence. It just did it again.
All right, just get your mouse and show me where I'm supposed to be looking.
Right now.
Just stop it.
I can't.
You sure that's not foam flying in the air?
No, that along the fence between those two with the white barrel laying in the water along the fence there. Watch that white dot.
Yeah,
put your mouse over. Put your mouse over where you want us to look.
Okay. One more time. You're not seeing my mouse for some reason.
I can see it when it goes down to your... Oh, that's weird.
You see that white barrel along this fence? The white barrel laying in the water? Look at the white dot. Yeah, yes.
Are you talking about the lower corner? Lower left corner?
The fence on the right-hand side of the video. You're American.
On the right-hand side.
God damn it.
Take your right hand, smack yourself in the head, and then look at the fence on the right-hand side. Now watch the water.
Or StreamYard.
The water is actually moving. And, of course, we're watching this through friggin' StreamYard. Right, Al. You're right. But the water is moving. Look at it. It's going back and forth.
I can't see that on here.
I can't see it, but I do see something floating in the air, and I think it's foam.
I can't see that.
Yeah, I think that's foam.
There is foam moving in the air, and that's what I told Mitch. No, it's at the 1 minute mark in this video. Palm Bay.
So let's get a little bit more detail. You said a white canister. I see a dozen white canisters.
How many are along the fence laying in the water?
What fence?
There's a fence along. I see a few fences. If I could circle the fences, I'm going to circle more than 2.
Yeah.
If I could count. Brian, I want to hear your laugh, because if I could smack these guys in the head, I would.
You probably would too.
Brian's got that Dudley Do-Right snickering laugh, or what was that? Snidely Whiplash.
Muttley.
I love Muttley.
Yeah.
Look at the game.
Where's the pigeon?
Look at the water moving under the dot. Because it's only a friggin' dot that I see.
We'll go back again. I can't. You're moving it. Okay.
Oh, that fence.
No, not that foam.
I was just going to say that.
Now, this fence with that white dot and that water moving underneath it. Friggin' StreamYards. 720p crap. All right, I give up.
Now you have me curious. I'm gonna have to go back and check it. You're gonna get about 10 views more from me.
I watched it 100 times, and I said, "Son of a bitch," because I was only flying at 100, 150. I find 150 feet to be the best spot for me when I'm doing these buildings and stuff like that. As long as you don't have a trench coat. As seen on TV.
You should have brought that up when Mitch was here. Maybe you could have pointed it out a little better.
You know what? It's just when I said, do you ever go back and watch your own videos? That's what brought it up in my head. I didn't think
actually do go back, and then I wonder why the hell did I edit it that way.
Yeah. And I look at the colors these days, and I go, "Oh, dude,
you would have been proud of me." I did one in Dolby Vision today. Yeah, I'll show it to you. Perfect Dolby Vision. Looks like shit.
This will be good.
Looks like absolute hammered shit.
Are you going to post it? Did you post it already?
Yeah, but it's private.
Oh.
How do I see it?
Send me the link, Jim.
I'll just put it up here because it's hammered horse shit anyway. How do I see it? Jesus, what, I got to go search through my own videos for Christ's sake?
Got 10 to choose from.
How do you? Yeah, there's only 200 there. How do I find the damn thing? What do you hit? Manage videos? Let me hit manage videos. That'll bring it up.
Public save.
I'm not putting that public. Are you kidding?
How many do you have in your video vault that you didn't post?
8 million.
I have a ton of them.
You remember that one that I didn't mean to put it up, but I did. There's Brian, you son of a bitch. You're late.
Dudley Do-Right?
That I couldn't think of the name.
Oh, Dudley Do-Right works.
The Mountie, the Canadian Mountie on the horse.
Hello, AZ Drone.
Look, Matt, this is Dolby Vision.
Dudley
in 4K, 1,000 nits. Well, you can't get any better than this, and it's HD.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? Are you going back and shooting the same area all the time, or is it the same video and you're just? It's
the same God blessed D-log that I can't get right.
Well, what about when I color graded it, Jim? Did that came out all right?
You sucked.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I did hear that. He's obviously.
So he sent you a clip and you edited it.
Yeah.
And he said it sucked.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he.
Can we see that?
Because the roof of that building, the screen again. The roof of that building is green.
I can guarantee you, Jim, that the roofs on those two buildings are totally different.
Green.
You have Matt's edited edition. I'm curious to see.
Look, Matt, the red looks so good.
Okay, no comment.
Shut up, pal.
I'm curious. I want to see it.
Why is the friggin' thing in 1080?
Yeah, show my color grade, mate. Don't worry about
1080.
Let's do it before and after. Come on, show me.
Why isn't it in Dolby Vision? Rec 2020, because look at the name of the video. Rec 2020, PQ 2084, Rec 2100. Where the hell is it?
I was at the zoo the other day and I saw a monkey that didn't get the peanuts, and I just saw the same look in Jim.
Let me tell you something. If anybody ever commits suicide over Davinci Resolve 17, it would be me.
Or you could start flying Tiny Hawks, Jim.
Hey, I got it working again.
You won't have to worry about the camera.
Now, Brian's landed up in his neighbor's pool. Can you think I can afford that with my neighbors?
You're trying to get a close-up of their daughter.
Like John Coopy's girlfriend laying there with her legs spread, and then Paulie from Drone Bum laying there with his legs spread. I'd get accused of that. I'm the one who'd be put in jail for that.
Paulie's such a whore by the look of him. He just lets himself loose, doesn't he? He's probably had a couple.
No inhibitions.
No.
Peter Carroll says just use auto.
And then you know what? To save the stress, sometimes it's okay to do that.
That's right.
Really? Have you ever considered auto?
I shoot auto in the Mini too, and it's great. I don't give a shit.
Actually, you're right.
It's great.
On the Mini,
Let me just going to update my list here. Al Diaz on the bottom.
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I lose my drone credit? I don't give a shit anymore. I told you that, Matt. You're not in my head anymore. You used to be, but you're not. I'm going to fly at 12 o'clock and put cinematic bars on it and not give a shit. Just for you.
Man, y'all are
And
cool.
you know, when I'm watching it, I'm going.
Oh, I know. I could like, with your hands crossed. Like this.
Look at the 12.8 stops the dynamic range Al didn't get.
Nice shadows, Al. Where? Yeah. Oh, that's funny as shit. Oh, that's funny. I like that. Oh, God damn it. Let me get out of this. Oh, my God.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
It is. It is.
Matt, where are you?
I'm at my parents' place still, down in the out
I
the
was
back
gonna say,
patio.
Doesn't look very dungeony there. You must not be home.
They can't get rid of it.
I'm surprised you knew I had a dungeon, right?
Well, yeah, that's a wonderful background you have. I'm not saying you live in a dungeon. I think it's a wonderful background.
Of course it is. Yes, I know. Yeah, that's shit. Oh well. C'est la vie, mon ami.
Oh God. I called Ray Kelly. Where's Ray Kelly? He'll attest to 11:30 this morning till now. I've been on this computer editing that God blessed Dolby Vision HDR10 plus video that is sitting on YouTube at HD 1080p.
It's going to take a while to render. I'm pretty sure of it on YouTube.
No. I think it ignored all my instructions and put it up in 720.
What is your file information that you uploaded, mate?
What do I got to do? Give you the link?
No. Just right click on the file, not on the internet. The file on your hard drive. Right click it, and what's the file information that you uploaded?
All right. Let me open. Come on. Properties.
Matt, I thought you were going to coach him up on Davinci.
2 gigabytes.
101.
That's a good size.
Yeah, that's a really good size.
It's 3826 4K, 153. Wow, the friggin' audio is 1,533 kilobytes. Why? There's no audio on there.
How long is that video, Jim?
2 minutes and 40 seconds.
There's no way it should be 2 gigabytes, even at 4K.
It's a Dolby Vision video that's playing at 1080p.
It can be. Look, it might take a while to get to 4K, Jim. One of my videos took 3 days to go from 1080p to 4K for some reason. I have no idea. And it just went to 4K. So it may be one of those times. Who knows, mate? I'll just leave it for a bit and see what happens.
Wait a minute now.
That way the crap job you did will come out even clearer.
That's what I'm saying, because it looks like crap.
Right.
Here's the video. It says, no, Matt, it says Adobe AVC. It says high at 5.1. So that tells you right there that it's not 10-bit. And if it ain't 10-bit, it ain't HDR. So that tells you right there. Format profile, high at 5.1. That is not 10-bit.
So
let's go down. There it is.
After you rendered it or before?
This is after I rendered it.
So it's the way you're rendering it.
Well, no, but the file that he's got on his hard drive is 4K.
How the hell did it render out like that?
But if you didn't render it out correctly, then it's gonna not be 10-bit, right? It won't be an HDR type quality video.
That's right. You've got to have your settings correct for that render to be 10-bit HDR.
You probably don't have the settings right.
I know.
I'm not in. I don't know anything about Davinci. I tried it like once way back in the day.
I do.
Too much.
And Jim, I'm still trying to figure out why you're trying to use Davinci on that computer of yours.
I know, but it doesn't. Let me see the original file.
Oh, it'll do it.
No, I mean it renders it.
Shh, Gary, don't say that. It might drive Jim crazy.
This is the original file. What the hell? 16 bits of audio, 8-bit. It says 8 bits.
Yeah, you didn't render it correctly. If that's post render.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
It's D-Log, man. It was 10-bit D-Log that I colored.
Was.
It goes in it. Yeah, 10-bit on your timeline. You got to render it after in a 10-bit.
It'll come out 8-bit every time. Yeah, you got to have your settings right for that. Spot on too, and it'll be it's a nice sky, isn't it? Jesus Christ!
Oh shit, my eyes!
Quick, get your sunnies, everyone.
That's fresh off of a standard 709 computer screen.
You watch. Jim will say that's the one I color graded for him.
I was waiting for him to say that. Hold on, Jim. Hold on. Let me look at it. Hold on. It's a little bit bright, but I think it's better.
Al, go get your welding goggles, mate.
You know what that looks like, Al? That looks like the movie The Fly.
It does, doesn't it? I look like a stupid ass with it on. But I love it.
There's that exciting Dolby Vision, boys, on a 709 computer screen. Put through YouTube and StreamYard. Looks like shit. Oh, man, I can't get a break.
Did you post this one by any chance?
Do you think there's a chance in hell that this went live? No. Look at how many folders I got of this shit.
The same shot. You're going to drive yourself nuts. Oh my God.
Jim, this is supposed to be part of the fun, dude. You're killing yourself. Yeah, you're killing yourself.
Well, yeah, Brian and Matt here can help you out with it. It's how you're rendering it. It's how you final render, how you're exporting it.
I'm telling you, I rendered it in Dolby Vision. It was set for 1,000 nits computer screen, so your TV could play it, because I was going to play it on the TV in the house. And it comes out as 1080p. So I'm going insane.
Well, you got a comment. Brent says the red looks great. Lock the lock.
Hey, Brent, that's not actually red, mate. It wasn't red. Real life, it was like blue or some shit.
Ray, I've been working on that since I talked to you. What the hell time did I talk to you? Oh, my God. It is going to be the death of me.
It will be. That's why I gave up on that shit.
Fly, dude. Get out and fly and not worry about the edit.
I have more of this kind of video?
This is awesome.
I've been online. We've shared screens and all sorts of shit with Jim when it comes to color grading and all sorts of crap like that. But when it comes to all this HDR shit, he's on his own, man. I mean, I'm not pushing anything. I don't need to. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not worth it for me to invest that much time into that shit. What I want to invest my time into is getting the color grading correct and reading the graphs and all that sort of shit to try and master that side of things, because I really don't require HDR or anything like that.
I want 10-bit HDR, wide gamut, all over the friggin' screen.
Get a computer, man.
All over the screen, not just a little bit of it.
I got a bad picture in my head on that one.
If it does 10-bit, I want to see the 10-bit. If it does HDR and I'm paying $2,000 for a TV in the house, I want to see HDR on it.
I think Brian probably said it best.
No, the thing about 10-bit is 10-bit is made to watch uncompressed on your own TV. To put it on YouTube, you're just saying, Let me throw some toilet paper over it too, because that'll make it look even better. Because you're not going to get the quality on either Facebook or YouTube on 4K, on HDR, on H265. It's not going to come over. I mean, look at Matt. He's over there picking his nose, and he's got some of the best videos anywhere.
Picking his nose.
Pick me a winner.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Brian. But I mean, it's it all come. You don't need that 10-bit coming onto to YouTube to look really good, But,
unless you're going to use it for personal uses, compression rate on the internet is ridiculous. There's no point. Which is why almost everything I put up is 1080p, because it's just not worth it.
It's true, and I wonder what that VP9 compression rate is actually, because if you're even though you're capturing 10-bit D-Log, which means it's flat, you add the color. You're capturing it in either MOV or H264, 265. Either way, that's a lossy compression. Then you're sending it to YouTube, which does compression, and showing it on friggin' StreamYard, which only does 720p at its best.
Well, this is it, Now, with the Spark footage I did, I would always upscale that to 4K, purely for the fact that, number one, it makes the file bigger. So when it goes into YouTube and they compress it, it doesn't lose as much quality as what they did if I put a 1080p file up there. It seemed to have pixelate and all that sort of shit. Now, you know how much I've stuffed around with the bloody Premiere Elements. And that's what I found is when you put it into YouTube and you've made it into a 4K file, that compression, then the image actually looks better at 4K, although it's not actually 4K. It looks better under that compression than what it did as a 1080p file. Because I get a little bit nitpicky when it comes to, look at those, I don't like those leaves because they're starting to pixelate a bit. I can't stand looking at some footage going, there might be only a little section of it, but I hate it. It's like, you fucking asshole. So I found it got rid of a lot of that by upscaling the 1080p to 4K.
I've never tried that.
I did that with just about every Spark video I ever did.
Al does it with all his cinematic video.
I tried the HDR a few times. It's a pain in the ass. The end result is all that work you put into it, and when you start looking on different browsers, I noticed that it looks like shit.
Which one was that?
It changes from screen to screen. Which one is that?
I'm telling you, I'm not going to care. I'm going to make a video at 12 o'clock in the afternoon this weekend, and it's going to be titled Cinematics Format.
It better be a solar eclipse, brother.
Oh, shit, it's going to be beautiful. It'll be of a parking lot.
That's it.
Check out how clear the parking lot.
But that one you did of Google Park was nice.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
He had that on point of interest.
Man, keep on coming, huh? This guy. Yeah.
Hey, whatever.
You pat Matt on the back and he shits on everybody. Because he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning and he gets his early flights and his beautiful captures. His kangaroos on steroids.
Hey, how's that Roo? Holy shit.
That was crazy.
That thing was like mental
for the camera.
It was. Yeah. It was, yeah. You see what I mean? People are always on about that, and I've told them about the big reds before, and they go, they're just kangaroos. Man, that thing will flatten you as soon as you look at you. You know, those things are nearly 7 foot freaking tall. Big roos, man. And as you can see, they're cut. They're ripped, dude.
His arms, his traps, his biceps. Yeah, I mean, it was everything. His thighs, his traps. He was doing it.
And you know what? He only eats grass, for God's sake.
You want to start eating fucking grass.
Dude,
hey, Chris.
He must have been eating that grass with those steroids sprayed onto him. He's a He's a big boy, and you have a look at the things that he's, actually having a crack at. Those little greys next to him, those things look like little Joeys compared to him, and he's in there trying to shove one in, We come to that midget sex again. Anyway, that's another story. That's Adrian's gig.
I was going to say, yeah.
Hey, Chris, did you get your? Oh no. Chris is fat sharp.
He got him fixed.
Oh, he did. That's what I was going to ask him.
He had a loose wire in it or something like that. I think he was on Mitch's show or someone's show when he talked about what needed to be, what he figured out and stuff like that.
That poor bastard, he's had some shit luck with this.
Yeah, but that's FPV. That's usually what happens when you're flying that shit. It could happen to any of the rigs or goggles, anything. Oh, look at that. I'm freezing up again. Oh.
So why are you so in love with it, Al?
Because I'm not experiencing that. I think it's because of the digital goggles I have. That's probably why. It's more immersive. I don't see the lines in the goggles. So.
You have the digital?
Yeah. I have the DJI goggles. I just put them on my eyes when you showed us your video, your beautiful video.
That's right. That's right.
Look at Matt's doing pretty stuff again.
He's doing an Al video.
Oh,
he's gone.
You guys are giving me a complex. I ain't fucking
walked out of the range.
I give up.
I said you were doing an Al video, and then you dropped off, Matt.
You know what I do like? I do like, not the video part, but the pictures. Like, Brian takes some nice pictures and posts them to Facebook. A lot of people take nice pictures, edit them, and put it to Facebook. Dre did a nice picture. He just captured it. It wasn't even fully edited and posted it. I kind of started to dig that side of it. You know what I mean?
I've been doing a lot more pictures lately.
I could see myself probably doing that more.
Yeah, same, Brian, because and I've been, as soon as I get the drone up or something like that, I might do a pano and then, just line up a couple of shots, take a few stills and whatever. Whereas I never did that before. I'd fly out, do my videos and all that, and that was about it, because I really didn't want to do still photography. But there was only, lately in the last couple of months, there's been some nice places I've been make a nice picture, and the first time ever I stuffed around with HDR pictures and all sorts of shit. And, you can get some nice stuff out of that. Although HDR pictures can look fake, man.
Yeah.
I had to really pull those colors right out of it. Otherwise, it just looks like poo.
That AI stuff drives me insane because everybody goes overboard with it.
There's somebody that's posting on Facebook, and I think he's some Norwegian guy, man. And his drone pictures are pretty unreal. I mean, they're HD quality, but they're like on point. I forgot what his name is. You guys probably seen it before, but yeah, they're phenomenal. I kind of like that stuff. I suppose the drab construction photos I would take and stuff like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Those are still you just take the picture, expose for the building, and that's it. That's all they want. But great stuff you guys are posting. Chris too. Chris Hope does some great images as well.
Oh, you don't try and make up now, Al. Kissing up after the fact doesn't work in this group.
Al's got arthritis.
New title to Jim and Matt. Cinematics at 12 p.m.
That's what they call it, cinematics.
Cinematics.
Hey, Jim, I'm gonna do a live this Friday, and it's usually about 2.5 hours. And I'll tell you what, I'll get a video up, and I guarantee I'll have it ready and color graded in an hour.
Challenge.
And I'll be on there for 8 hours trying to get the red right.
All I'm saying is it'll be a 2 or 3 minute video. It'll be ready in an hour. I don't give a shit what I got. And it'll look
I'm not putting it on auto. I
don't shoot anything on
auto. And there's nothing wrong with shooting auto, is there?
Especially with some of the newer drones. The Mavic Air 2 is fine on auto. I mean, well, not really, but it's good enough.
I sort of misheard Al there. I think Al broke up. I didn't quite hear what he said about normal.
The Mini 2, there's no ND filters I have. I'm fucking shooting in auto. Letting you guys know right now. Everything's done on auto, and I lock that exposure value.
Look what happened when I put a UV filter on. Everything came out red. What the hell was that?
Oh, that was
a UV filter.
That was a bit. That was a bit of a mixed bag, though, of different. That was an Indiana UV on there as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to have it for the weight, or else the camera goes like this. Boom! It just gives up.
Yeah.
And flops up into the air.
Well, you know what? Too, there's nothing wrong with shooting an auto, because you've said in the past, Jim. You either get the sun or the ground. Well, it's not quite true, but what you can do is you just change that camera angle, and just to pop that sun just out of the lens, and it'll start to expose the ground. So you can still get an effect, and then lock your exposure, like Al said, and then you can still get your ground detail.
You could still play with the exposure value, plus minus, which you never had in the past before. That at least I don't remember that being there. But in reference to the Mini 2 or the Mini, I see there's nothing wrong with going auto. I mean, just in anything.
Oh, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with it.
Starting some shit ain't gonna be some shit.
You're trying to get in my head. It's not gonna happen.
It will. I'm already there.
I don't care no more.
It will.
I'm the guy lining up next to you with the helmet on, looking you straight in the eye, going, "Your mum was great last night." Yeah, that's me. You know the helmet, Bizzo? What you do there?
I just come to. I'm not going to be able to beach. I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. and catching a sunrise at 5:30. It ain't going to happen. So
he does it.
Touche to you. You won.
Yeah.
He does it.
I tell you something, Ozbeach Andy's still recovering this week after last week's effort. So he's still tired.
He doesn't want to fly his drone anymore after a session with you. He's probably like, F this. Probably ruined the poor guy.
I'll stay in bed.
This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah. We do what we do, eh? That's what it is. Everyone's different, mate. That's just the way it rolls. As I said, it becomes a bit of an effort lately to actually do that. But when I get the footage and I put it back on my computer, I'm glad I've done it, because I think, geez, it's got some nice stuff.
Oh, there you go. This is Brian. Brian, this is your picture, right?
Now, the one on the right is the original. It's worthless. It's overblown, blown out. The one on the left, after Luminar 4, I was able to sunshade that thing with a bunch of clouds, and it brought it down to where I could work with it.
And the shadows are in the correct area.
Right. Yeah.
Off the
so I'm saying that, there's a lot of stuff.
Better on the right.
I think you need glasses, Jim. You still got the sun flare. Let me see if I can do that. You still got the sun flare here.
You don't like the HDR pictures, Jim, right? Are you just
because no. Look at the yellow coming down like a friggin' happy face on a McDonald's box.
But you got it here. You got yellow here. Whereas I was able to red it, you can see the detail behind it.
Was that the dollar meal?
I like it. There's many ways to paint.
Okay, at least my sky is not teal. The original.
Yeah. At least you got a picture up.
You like some Miami Dolphins?
See, if these HDRs, right, and this is what I'd do with that, right? So I would go somewhere in between the left and right photo, somewhere in between that.
I did. I still wasn't happy with it because there was so much glare. Whatever I did was it just wasn't working. I just said, I got to get rid of that glare. And I changed the sky completely as a last resort. And that did it. It's not perfect. Yeah. And it doesn't even look that great.
Brian. Look at the first picture in the ground.
You're right on both counts, Brian. It's not perfect and it doesn't look that good. You were right there.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that, you asshole.
Trying to help the body out.
So no situation.
This is where I'm talking to you the other day about the sky, Jim. Now that sky, you've actually captured the blue there, Brian. In the original photo, the blue's there, which is an awesome thing because that can blow. Yeah, because that can blow right out if you've overexposed that sky at all. Now this is what I was talking about to Jim a couple of weeks ago with the luminous versus saturation. There's a thing in there in Davinci. Oh shit! Here comes the fucking leaf blower. hang on. There's a thing in Davinci where you can go make your lines and all that sort of shit, but you can adjust the right-hand side of this line, and it'll do your sky, and it'll only touch your sky. So you can pull that exposure back down. You can get more detail out of that sun. You know how it goes like this, and as soon as you pull the detail in, the sun starts to close up, and you can see that roundness of the sun. And
the gradient? Using the gradient tool?
Yep. No, there's another way to do it though, too, Matt. You can go black and white, because I've done this on a couple of photos too. Go black and white, bring that sun down to where you literally just see, like you said, a round circle, and then slowly start bringing in your colors with the gradient wheels. And I've done that on a few of them. I just didn't want to, you know, I was throwing stuff up on Instagram and Facebook, and I said, nah, that's good enough. If I'd have known it was going to be on Jim's show, I would have done much better, but fuck him.
Yeah, because he's a picky bastard, mate. He's a picky bastard. Yeah. Oh, what's the time? Oh, 25 too. Okay.
All right. See that? Hey, read that right there, buddy. Matt's right under you. Read it.
Right under me. What's that say?
Cinematics for nitwits.
I can't hear that. Well, I mean, I can't read it. What is it?
Cinematics for nitwits.
Is that a question mark after it?
Yep.
It's an exclamation point and a question mark.
Okay, Brian, he's asking you a question.
I think we've just blown his mind. Never worry about it. He's good.
Wow.
Gary's up in Canada right now. It's nothing but snow and gray. It just probably just made his eyes pop out seeing all that color right now because he's not seeing it.
He said that's not what it looks like. Oh, that's funny. Hey guys, I've got to roll. Hey, I've got shit to do. So I'll have to leave you with it. Adrian doing a live tomorrow or what?
I don't know, but I got to get back to my Dolby Vision.
Yeah, gotta.
I'd be dead by the morning time.
Yeah, dude.
If people have, if you hear of reports from Florida, like a mass killing or a suicide, you know what happened.
The RGB killer.
I can't believe this son of a bitch is up there at 1080p. Oh my god.
Yeah, that
we
kind
need
of
to watch
stuff.
more YouTube videos.
Whoops.
I think I'm going to leave too. I've been insulted too much.
We're going to
go make dinner.
We were going to just start working on the other cheek, Al.
Now instead of just having Matt on my head and shoulders, now I got fucking Jim on the other side.
He's balanced you out, Al. Now you're on an even keel. You're on an even keel now, mate.
Anybody want to buy drones? I got some drones for sale. Some camera drones. I'm done with it.
I can't believe you sent that thing back already, man, with cracks in it.
Yeah, well,
I was mad.
Shit.
I was pissed.
Yeah,
but it's in Washington,
ridiculous,
which is not too far from here, but still 5 weeks plus. So there you go.
Yeah, shit outside.
All right, fellas, I'm out of here. Thank you, Jim.
Night,
Matt,
sir.
it's always a pleasure. Matt on my shoulder. Hopefully you don't stay there too long.
So right out.
Everybody in the chat, take care. Tell Brian I said hello. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks,
Later.
See you, fellas. Catch you later.
I got to see what the hell Tim wrote before I go. Oh, get a new PC. Is that what the one you meant, Tim? It's got to be it, right? Because the other one says, Gary, you missed that Jim has knit stuff.
Come back and everybody's gone. What the hell?
You missed that Jim has knits about it. I don't get it.
Nits is as in light measuring.
I know what nits are, for Christ's sakes. I'm editing to 1,000 nits.
Why?
For Dolby Vision.
And that's another thing. What is the purpose of that? I know, certain TVs look better, but I mean, I don't get it.
I wanted to see it on my TV. First of all, I wanted to get the edit correct because I'm editing on this piece of crap $250 4K TV, which is not getting the true HDR like we thought, because I'm pumping it out from my computer, which is the laptop, which only has 2.0. So it doesn't pump out HDR to the TV in the first damn place. So when I'm editing, it's like guessing with the colors. You know, so I was just trying to play, and I don't know if you can find a happy spot or know what blue looks like on your TV and what it's going to look like, wind up looking out on a real TV or the screens, because you can watch a good video, HDR video on 3 different screens and see 3 shades of blue.
Water, seawater is, to me, one of the hardest things to get, especially, and it all depends on the screen. On one of my TVs downstairs, it looks like mud. Same video, different monitor, it looks normal. On another one, it looks kind of greenish, like it's not good at all. But I know what you mean. You can't, given what it is, you just can't fuss over that kind of stuff. It'll drive you crazy, man. My wife goes, "Why is that muddy?" So, well, it did look muddy upstairs, you know?
Right. Exactly. And I'm just trying to find, I guess, like what it can do or what I can do with it. You know, yep. That's all it really is. Since I know I don't have, the top grade calibrated monitor and all this other crap. That's all it was.
And nobody really does. But
that LG, the new LG CX, which is, I guess, supposed to be their 10th because last year's model was the C9, is HDMI 2.1 and perfect black. I mean, it's an OLED TV, so it better be, right? But that's the one that the guys are using to color grade with now. Yeah. It took till 2021 to get something that, well, I'll say we can afford. It's like $1,800. The little one, the 55-inch, is on sale for $13.99. The 48-inch is $14.99. Is $100 more because they know you're going to use it as a monitor.
Yeah.
All right. At that note, guys, thanks for coming. We're going to wrap her up. 2 hours is a lot.
And your internet's failing you anyway.
Is it?
Yeah, you're getting really stuttery.
Okay, let's wrap her up. Thanks, Brian.
All right, Jim, you take it easy.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Later.